Art again appears to take the lives of hundreds of people. But if you're a chicken heart, then skip this video. The movie begins with Christmas around the corner, and in the middle of the night, a little girl named Jules wakes up. She stands at the door of her parents' room and says that she can sense there is someone on the rooftop. Her mother tries to reassure her, saying there is no one else in the house. But Jules keeps insisting that she believes Santa has come to their home. Her dad gets annoyed and wants to sleep. So, her mom politely takes Jules back to her room and puts her to sleep. She tells her a story that maybe it's Santa on the roof checking for sturdiness before Christmas, as he has to land his reindeer that day. Jules smiles, believes the story, and tells her mom to put out cookies and milk for Santa before sleeping. Her mother says goodnight, sets out the milk and cookies, and just as she is returning, she hears strange footsteps around the house. But she ignores it and goes back to sleep. After a couple of minutes, Jules wakes up again after hearing someone walking in their living room. As she goes to see, she gets so happy that it's Santa and excitedly tries to wake her brother up. But he does not wake up. She sees Santa taking out an axe from his big sack and walking upstairs. He opens Jules's brother's room and kills him by stabbing him with the axe several times. Jules now senses that Santa is a bad man. He comes out of that room and enters her mom and dad's room. He stabs her dad several times until he dies. Her mother wakes up and screams upon seeing her husband lying dead in bed with blood splattered all over her arms. She begins screaming at the sight of Santa in front of her and runs out of her room. She locks the door and sees that Jules is not in her room. Later, she enters her son's room, and his body parts are scattered all around the room. She screams even more, but when Santa follows her, she runs for her life toward the outer door, but it is locked. Meanwhile, Santa comes after her and stabs her in the back with the axe, begins chopping her limbs, and finally strikes the axe to her head, killing her. Afterward, Santa enjoys the cookies and milk, and as he is about to leave the house, he feels that someone is still inside. He opens the kitchen cabinet and finds Jules there, waving his hands toward her. 5 years ago, a cop searches a littered house and finds a headless body. He tells his partner on the walkie-talkie that he found a body and needs more cops to complete the search. But just as he looks around, the headless body gets up and kills the cop. It later fixes the cop's head onto its body and takes the local train that was transporting passengers from the ghost attraction. A woman sitting on the train, already in a Halloween costume, looks at the blood-soaked hands of the strange man in costume sitting in front of her. On the other hand, a restaurant manager hears a scream in a room and rushes to handle the situation, but he is terrified to see a disfigured woman and a clown feeding on the flesh of a man. The manager knows at that moment that he is in danger and tries to run, but the disfigured woman rips off her face, and the headless clown kills him. Later, both the clown and the disfigured woman take the train coming from the ghost attraction. A man admires both of them, as their costumes look very real. He requests to take their picture while he is wearing a clean clown costume. Later, they kill that man, and the clown wears his outfit, and they go to an abandoned house. Rats are walking everywhere, and the disfigured woman brings a rat closer. It begins feeding on her flesh. The woman then bangs her head on the mirror and sits in the bathtub, injuring her arm with a knife while the clown sits in the resting chair. In the present day, Sienna's uncle arrives at the hospital, and she is so happy to see him. She is being discharged from the mental health hospital after a long time. On the way, her uncle tells her that his daughter Dabby is excited to see her. Sienna shares a good bond with Dabby, so when she reaches home, the first thing Dabby asks her to do is promise that she will never leave again. Later, she takes Sienna upstairs to show her the room she decorated for her. Sienna loves the room and reads a card Dabby made for her and feels so happy with her. At the same time, Sienna has dinner with her uncle, aunt, and Dabby after returning home for the first time. Curious, Dabby wants to know why Sienna has scars on her face, but suddenly Sienna begins seeing visions of her mom soaked in blood, accusing her of killing her. She tries to ignore it but leaves the table when it becomes overwhelming. Her aunt and uncle feel that she is not fully recovered yet. Meanwhile, her brother Jonathan enters his friend's dorm room, where his girlfriend is excited to see him. She wants to do a podcast with Jonathan, as he has become a special person after surviving the clown's attack and stabbing him. She insists, but even though Jonathan does not like this talk, he leaves the room agreeing to the podcast. In the hallway, Jonathan receives a call from his sister Sienna, who tells him that she misses him. She shares that she wants to be together and is happy that they will spend Christmas together. But in reality, Sienna had a severe meltdown before the call after seeing a terrifying vision and feels terrible right now. Meanwhile, the clown repairs the liquid nitrogen pump while the disfigured woman removes stuffing from different pillows. The clown sees rats walking on the floor and tests the liquid nitrogen spray by spraying it on a rat, which freezes to death. He later smashes the rat and puts it in front of the other rats to feed on it. At the same time, Sienna and Dabby have a great time together. Sienna puts makeup on Dabby while, in a local bar, a man wearing Santa clothes sees a clown entering. The bartender, Santa, and his friend welcome the clown, who wants Santa's outfit and came in to get it. They don't understand what the clown wants to say but offer him a seat and ask to see what's in his bag. He shows them clown toys and makes them laugh. While Sienna admits to her aunt that she still sees visions and finds them terrifying, her aunt misses Sienna's mom, who was her sister. At the same time, the bartender insists that the clown shows his ID card, as he looks suspicious. But the clown shows him the ID card of the man he just killed. They offer the clown a drink, which he dislikes, and he spits it all over Santa's face. Santa hates it and tells him to get away. At that moment, the clown pees on the floor, which disgusts the bartender, who asks him to leave. Angry, the clown leans against a wall to pee again in the hallway, making the bartender furious. As the bartender rushes to kick the clown out of the bar, the angry clown takes out a gun from his sack and shoots the bartender and Santa's friend. He wants Santa's outfit now, and after tying Santa to a chair, he gets the outfit. While Santa tries to talk his way out of it, the clown takes the liquid nitrogen tank out of his sack and starts spraying it on Santa's lower limbs. Santa cries and screams with pain, but the clown then sprays the liquid nitrogen on Santa's face and rips off his beard to attach it to his own face to complete his Santa disguise. Meanwhile, Dabby's father argues with his wife that they should not have brought Sienna home. But the mom insists that Sienna will get better soon. While Sienna writes in her journal in her room, she reads a letter from Jonathan telling her that they need to kill a little girl who will act as a vessel for Satan. The next day, Sienna and Dabby go to the local shopping mall, where a Santa is taking pictures with little kids. After working for so long, Santa takes a break. While shopping at a clothing outlet, Sienna looks toward the door and sees the clown wave at her, and she instantly recognizes him. She controls herself and goes to meet Jonathan, who is waiting for her at a nearby restaurant. She wants him to join them on Christmas night, but he refuses, saying he will attend a party with his college friends. At the same time, his friend sees him, and his friend's girlfriend asks both siblings to join her podcast. Sienna responds rudely, telling her that she is going through a difficult healing phase after encountering the clown years ago. She is struggling to cope and leaves the restaurant. Jonathan follows her, and she angrily tells him that she saw the clown here in the mall dressed as Santa. Jonathan doesn't believe her and is unwilling to ruin his peace of mind. Meanwhile, the clown replaces the original Santa in the mall, and all the waiting kids run toward him. He begins distributing toys to the kids while the assistant to the real Santa calls security, saying it's not their Santa. The security guides the clown out of the mall, and at the same time, a kid opens a gift he found in Santa's sack, causing a huge explosion that turns the kid into a bloody mess. The whole mall begins to burn. At the same time, Jonathan is disturbed by what his sister Sienna said. He never wants to confront the clown again in his life. Distressed and troubled, Jonathan smashes everything in his room and goes to sleep. Sienna and Dabby return, and Dabby hides the gift behind Santa when she sees her hiding something. At the same time, Santa stops his van in front of a restaurant and gets inside. Sienna becomes angry when she discovers that Dabby knows she doesn't like the cereal, which means Dabby has been reading her journal. She scolds Dabby back in her room and asks her to promise that she will never tell anyone what she read, including their parents. Dabby promises, and at the same time, Jonathan's friend Cole talks to MIA about how Jonathan gets distressed when the subject of the clown comes up. She insists that she will do anything to record a podcast with him, as she wants to know what it's like to be so close to a dangerous subject like the clown. Meanwhile, the clown, wandering in their dorm. At the same time, Sienna's uncle hears the news on TV reporting that someone in a Santa getup appeared in the mall, distributed gifts, and one of the gifts had a bomb. It exploded and killed many kids. Sienna hears the news and screams that they are not safe here. After the blast, she believes that the person she saw in the mall today was the clown. She screams that Jonathan is also unsafe and requests to bring him home. On the other hand, the clown hears MIA and Cole and follows them into the washroom. He brutally chops them and enjoys lying down in the pool of their blood. Uncle keeps waiting for Jonathan in the parking lot when he calls to say he can't see him. Suddenly, Uncle loses Jonathan's voice and hangs up the call. Sienna sees her father in her dream, giving her a picture of a fairy who is so powerful that she can kill anything with her sword. But as she tries to take the picture from her dad's hand, she cannot. Her dad tells her to calm down when she screams. The scene shifts, and she sees the clown killing her family. She wakes up and hears some unusual noises downstairs. Fearing the worst, she finds the disfigured woman and the clown in the living room with her uncle's corpse hanging on the wall. She runs, but they drag her back. The clown beats her with a hammer and ties her to a chair. After a while, she wakes up from her unconscious state and sees the clown opening Christmas gifts. Her aunt, tied to a chair, cries and begs to be untied. The clown unties her and asks her to wear a pink dress. She wants to know where Dabby is, and the clown uncovers a cage in front of her, revealing a skull stripped of skin, telling her it's Dabby. Her aunt screams in anguish, and the clown puts a large pipe in her mouth, inserts hungry mice into it, and then slits her neck. Now the clown turns towards Sienna, but she requests to open the last gift before dying. The clown injures her hand by banging a hammer against it and then asks her to open the gift. At the same time, Dabby comes downstairs, and the clown tells Sienna that he will kill her if she does not open the gift. She does so and takes out a sword from it. In the next moment, she strikes it against the clown's neck and then kills the disfigured woman by stabbing her in the mouth. Her blood oozes and starts burning the floor around it. Sienna rushes to kill the clown, who attacked her, and inserts the sword into his torso. But before she can finish him off, she hears Dabby crying for help as she falls through the burnt floor. Sienna gives her the sword to hold onto, but the sword rips her hand, and Dabby falls. She turns to see the clown and tries to end it, but by that time, the clown has fled the house. He takes the local bus to escape the city, and the movie ends here. If you like this movie, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel.